Today, we'll dive into how coffee can make you smarter, but here's the catch. I'll walk you through the history of coffee. I'll give you some more context. I'll walk through the 3 and 4 benefits of coffee and how it's good for you. But then I'll also give you the downsides. Hello, hello. Welcome to Healthy Systems Podcast, everybody. Today's episode I'm super excited about. But here's the topic today for Healthy Systems. It's unlike any episode I've done before, but I love this topic and I know you will too. So you're very educated. So you're not one of those people that are like, man, coffee, I don't know if it's good or bad for me. And you end up just like being in that moment of like, hey, I love it, but should I feel guilty for drinking it, etc. So let's dive in, right? Coffee can make you smarter, but here's the catch. That's the title of today's episode. And it's unlike any Healthy System podcast I've done before, but I really enjoy this topic because I love coffee. I've drank it for years, and all the people that I hang out with drink coffee. And if you listen to Healthy System, it's likely that you drink coffee too. So this little brown bean, right, has been the secret weapon over the years for scholars, revolutionaries, and everyday hardworking people for over 500 years. Right? This coffee bean that you and I drink every morning, it's been, historically, it's been the secret weapon for a lot of people. And it's powered world-changing ideas. And I think a lot of people don't know that about coffee, right? Right now, it's like in the West, we just go drink coffee on the way to work. It's just another thing. But if you look at the history of coffee, which I'll dive deeper into throughout the world and the global trade, and what makes coffee the second most traded thing in the world after oil. Oh man, this thing gets very fascinating. So coffee has powered world-changing ideas. It's built trillion-dollar economies and quite literally replaced alcohol as the morning drink of choice. So here's the thing. While coffee can help your brain fire on all cylinders, there's hidden side to that can actually hold you back, especially if you drink it the wrong way. So today we're talking history. We're going to dive into the science, the benefits, as well as the sneaky downside that most people totally ignore, actually. So let's start with the history side of coffee. So the origins of coffee, the global takeover. So it started off in Ethiopia, actually. So in the 9th century, there was a goat herder named Kaldi, right? Kaldi. And he noticed his goats dancing full of energy after eating red berries from a certain plant. So he was, a farmer, had some goats, and he saw like his goats, they ate this plant, eating red berries, and all of a sudden they wouldn't stop dancing, right? And he tried them himself, and he felt the buzz. And then he started sharing that with the local monks in Ethiopia at the time. So the monks actually used it to stay awake during long night prayers. So they started using it, and they're like, damn, we can stay up all night worshiping, we can stay up all night praying. So that was the origin in the 9th century. Now then, about 600 years after that, coffee came to the Yemen, to the Arab world, right? So by the 15th century, Yemen was cultivating and trading coffee itself. And the drink just spread quickly through the Middle East. Matter of fact, the name mocha frappuccino, we use it so often. The name mocha comes from a city in Yemen called Mocha. And that city during the Silk Road days was a city where all the traders would stop and they would drink coffee there. They would drink chai there. So in Yemen has played a very crucial role in coffee. I know nowadays we don't even, we don't know that country very well, but historically it's a very, very significant country. So that drink, obviously coffee, is spread quickly to the Middle East with coffee houses popping up in Mecca, which is Saudi Arabia, Cairo, which is Egypt, Istanbul, which is Turkey, right? And these weren't just cafes. They were think tanks where poets, scholars, merchants, and politicians would sit down and debate ideas. Like it was kind of like a library, right? And funny enough, coffee plays such a big role even in modern world now, even in the West, that even when I go to a bookstore like Barnes and Noble, they always have a coffee, like generally a Starbucks cafe inside. And that is where people come, read books, drink some coffee. So coffee plays a very unique role in our day-to-day lives, even now. But historically, 15th century in Yemen, people would drink coffee in Cairo and Istanbul, and they would debate politics, poetry. They would talk about scholarly things. So super significant. Now, after that, That was 15th century. Now we're diving into 1600s. Now Europe, right? So Europe had a huge caffeine revolution. And I think Europe benefited the most from coffee, if I had to summarize it. So coffee hit Europe in the 1600s, and it actually replaced beer and wine as the default breakfast drink. Europeans were wild, right? They would wake up in the morning, drink beer, drink some wine, and they were always a little buzzed, right? So for centuries, Europeans started their day mildly buzzed. How do you think their productivity was, right? Then came coffee. Once coffee arrived, suddenly people were sober, more alert, and ready to work. And that shift is credited with fueling the Enlightenment as well as the Industrial Revolution, right? You had guys like Isaac Newton, Voltaire, and Benjamin Franklin, who was one of America's founding father. These were all coffee house regulars. These people drank coffee regularly. So the Newtons of the world, the Voltaires of the world, the Benjamin Franklins of the world, to a point where some people even say they overdrank coffee. Like nowadays, we talk about 2 to 3 cups. They were drinking a lot more, right? Obviously, it's detrimental at a certain point, but like it just shows you that some of the best brains, some of the best minds that history tells us about actually were regular coffee drinkers, right? So now we take that. We started off in Ethiopia with our farmer friend Kaldi and his goats, and then his monk friends, right, using coffee to stay up all night to pray. Then we went to Yemen, and how from Yemen it spread to Egypt, Istanbul, Mecca in Saudi Arabia. And these cafes became a spot for scholars to get together, for merchants and politicians to discuss and debate ideas, to helping the European Revolution, right? Now we're just going down the timeline, right? How Europe used to be buzzed with beer and alcohol and wine, to now people are more alert. They're drinking coffee in the morning, right? And now you have the best minds of the world, the Isaac Newtons, the Voltaires of the world, the Benjamin Franklins of the world, who are coffee house regulars. So now to modern day, right? Today, coffee is actually the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. Again, coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. You have Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia. These countries dominate the production, while specialty coffee culture continues to grow, from pour over to $8 oat milk lattes that you see at your local barista, cafe. So now let's dive in. Now that you know the history a little bit and how coffee has helped humanity accelerate progress and growth and intellect and scholarly debates, to nowadays, let's talk about how coffee can make you smarter. I'll give you 4 scientific, also health and fitness related reasons to why coffee can make you smarter. First thing coffee does is that number one benefit of coffee is that it blocks sleepiness, right? So this is what we call adenosine blockade. So your brain naturally produces adenosine throughout the day, right? Which makes you feel sleepy. Caffeine sits in those adenosine receptors, kind of like a parking spot thief. It sits there and it blocks the sleep signal so you stay alert. Super helpful. I think this is the biggest reason we all drink coffee, right? When you wake up a little sleepy, a little tired, you go get that coffee, because it actually, your brain produces adenosine that makes you feel sleepy. Coffee actually goes and takes in those receptors, it goes and sits in them, kind of like a parking spot, kind of like when you're running a little behind and your friend saves you a parking spot. So when the friend is sitting at that parking spot, you don't feel sleepy anymore. You don't feel sleepy in that moment, right? That's one of the benefits of coffee is going and it's going to go sit in those adenosine receptors, and it's going to block that sleep signal so you stay alert. Beautiful, right? So now result is you have faster reaction times. So for those of you, like, I'm flying in a couple of days, it's going to be a super early morning flight. I'm going to be drinking coffee. I have a 1-hour drive, and that coffee will help me with obviously fast reaction times, sharper focus, but also it can give you that mental clarity as you're getting things done. So the number one benefit of coffee is that it blocks sleepiness. Obviously, do not neglect your sleep. Do not be that person who sleeps like very little and just overdoes it on the caffeine. Don't do that. But sometimes you need that little extra push, right? Number two, first one, blocks sleepiness. Number two is that it boosts dopamine and mood. So caffeine actually increases dopamine signaling. So the same reward chemical that keeps you motivated, caffeine boosts that. So this is why caffeine and coffee, a cup of good coffee, feels like motivation, right? That's why you feel like good. I'm good. I'm feeling good. I can actually like take on the world. Number three, caffeine enhances memory. It will enhance your memory and learning. So it kind of shows you how caffeine improves certain types of memory and can help you absorb and recall information more effectively, which is why actually I started drinking coffee in college. I used to have 8 a.m. biochemistry labs. There was no way. Like I think that was the first time where by accident the cafeteria on campus had coffee and I started drinking it just to wake up. It was like 6:30 a.m. You have a 9-hour lab day. And yeah, we would always drink coffee. And I think since then it's kind of become a habit. But that's why students and entrepreneurs love coffee and they swear by it because it enhances memory and learning. And then number four, this is where as fitness coaches we love it, which is that coffee improves your physical performance. So it stimulates adrenaline production, making your body more primed for physical effort. This is why you see a lot of athletes oftentimes they time their pre-workout and the pre-workout has caffeine in it, right? For alertness, for better physical performance, etc. So those are the four benefits of coffee. Blocks sleepiness through blocking the adenosine receptors. It boosts dopamine and mood. It enhances memory and learning, as well as it improves your physical performance. Okay. But here's the catch. Here's the hidden cost of coffee. You ready for this? It will lead to water and mineral loss in your body. What that means is that coffee is a mild diuretic. It makes you pee more. It makes you urinate more. So this means you lose water and electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, right? So if you're not replacing them, you're actually going to feel jittery, anxious, mentally foggy, even if you've just had caffeine. Okay, so you see how it can be doing the opposite of what you're trying to get it to do, right? So coffee was supposed to wake you up, was supposed to enhance your physical performance and mental clarity and memory and help you learn more. But if you're not replacing the electrolytes, magnesium, potassium, sodium, and coffee is just making you pee more, what's going to happen is now you're going to feel the opposite. While you're chugging down coffee, you're going to feel jittery, anxious, mentally foggy, all of that. So why this matters so much and why I wanted to cover it for coffee lovers is dehydration plus electrolyte loss can actually cause headaches. It will also lead to muscle cramps and that weird but tired feeling, right? I've definitely had that. When I used to work in the hospital, I used to do night shifts. And one thing I've noticed is that if I started drinking too much coffee or have my first cup like early in my shift, I would start feeling more like not as awake a couple hours later. So I would time my caffeine with my water perfectly. I would really hydrate my body. And then 4 hours into my shift, in a 9-hour shift or 8-hour shift, 4 hours in, that's when I started drinking coffee because now I'm hydrated. I just give it a little bit of coffee. All of a sudden, the effect was just 10 times better. Versus if I drank coffee while dehydrated, if I drank coffee from like hour one of my shift, I knew it was going to be a long night. So if you're training hard or even living in a hot climate, the effect of this loss of electrolytes and dehydration is even worse. It can impact recovery and physical performance. So here's how to fix it. I have a really, really simple cue for you. Okay. For every cup of coffee, I want you to drink at least 1 glass of water, at least. Okay. So for every cup of coffee, when you're drinking a cup of coffee, drink 1 glass of water. Matter of fact, what I tell my clients, so if you're a Titan client or if you've ever been a Titan client, the 2,000 of you, drink 2 glasses of water. I've always told you this, right? For every cup of coffee, drink 2 glasses of water because coffee is a diuretic. It will make you pee more. And I don't want you to lose water and electrolytes. And I want you to also include electrolyte-rich foods. You have bananas, citrus, leafy greens, nuts, seeds, right? You can even use those electrolyte mix like Liquid IV or LMNT, all of those that have those electrolyte replenishing qualities. Drink those because as you're drinking coffee, you're going to be peeing out more, and that electrolyte imbalance of dehydration can actually make you feel jittery, anxious, all of those things that you don't want. And if you're sweating a lot, just like I said, use a sugar-free electrolyte mix to stay balanced. Oftentimes, what helps you even more than coffee is having an electrolyte drink. When I have too many Zoom calls, too many coaching calls, too many consultations happening back to back, in those on those days, yeah, I have some coffee, but I also prioritize electrolytes. And if you don't have those pre-mixed sugar-free electrolyte packets at home, you can easily make one at home, which is take a glass of water, throw some pink Himalayan salt in it, squeeze a lemon in it, and you're good to go. Just mix it all up and just drink it. Lemon is a great source of electrolytes, pink Himalayan salt, another great source, and you can do it. Obviously, those sugar-free electrolyte packets are great because they have more than what a lemon and a pink Himalayan salt can offer. And sometimes we might be too hesitant to put more salt in. Maybe the lemon might be too small. Versus in those mixes, you know exactly what you are getting. But it can cost, I think they're actually costly. Like nowadays, I'll be looking at the grocery stores and stuff. They're like $2 a packet. By the look of it, it should be around like 40 cents a packet, but it's like $2. They're expensive. Probably because it's a trendy food right now, but they're actually very good. Those electrolytes can actually really help you. I remember last year we were running in Arizona. It was super hot day in July. And after the run, one of my friends, I had like a water bottle, my flask. One of my friends handed me one of those LMNT, I think mango flavored electrolytes. I just threw it in my water bottle, mixed it all up and drank it. It just felt like heaven. It was like everything my body wanted in that moment because we had just ran like 2-3 miles in 90-degree weather in Arizona. So the point being, those electrolyte packets are super useful. So if you want like the best combo, obviously the benefits of coffee, like we talked about, are great. If you want the best combo for productivity and alertness and just fueling your body, have coffee. Obviously, make sure your sleep, your nutrition, your exercise on point, but have coffee and pair it with an electrolyte mix, right? So in the morning, you can either use a sugar-free electrolyte powder, or you can make yourself a cup with lemon, pink Himalayan salt, mix it all up, drink it before you start drinking coffee, because it will help you retain the water and the electrolytes. And you drink coffee, and then it can kind of balance itself out. So in summary, here's how to get the most out of your coffee, okay? Time it properly in the morning. So best 60 to 90 minutes after waking. So in the morning, don't just start drinking coffee the moment you wake up. Wait about 90 minutes, right? That's how I like to do it. Don't do it immediately. This lets your natural cortisol levels settle first. Number 2, go black or minimal sugar. I make my Nespresso pods at home. No sugar. I just add sometimes a sweet and low in it. It's black. It's kind of foamy, so it doesn't feel black, but super good. Do not turn your coffee into a dessert. Do not buy one of those crazy lattes with 90 grams of sugar. Not worth it. And then don't drink coffee too late. Cut off caffeine at least 6 to 8 hours before bed. So if you go to bed at 10, stop drinking coffee around 2 p.m. It's going to protect your sleep quality due to the half-life of coffee. I think coffee's half-life is 4 to 6 hours. It's going to stay in your system, and then you might have trouble sleeping at night. And then paired with hydration. So always think coffee plus water plus electrolytes. That's going to give me the max focus without the crash of feeling jittery, feeling anxious, and all the side effects of coffee. So just closing remarks, coffee is one of the most powerful legal performance enhancers on the planet. It's helped fuel revolutions. You know what I mean? Like historically, it's been such a major change for industrial revolution and how it has helped humans just succeed. You know what I mean? We created some amazing things. Coffee has helped launch companies, launch countries, and sparked ideas, I think, that changed history. But just like any tool, it works best when you know how to use it. So enjoy your coffee. Just remember to fuel your body with water, minerals, and real food alongside it. That's how you keep the brain power without the burnout, without the jittery feeling, without the anxiety and all of that. So yeah, if this helped, just let me know. Let me know. DM me the word coffee, and I'll send you some more resources that we have over coffee and help you make sure that your coffee is not the reason why you're not losing weight or things like that. But overall, this was a really amazing podcast. I enjoyed making it. If you want me to do more podcast episodes talking about other things or other foods or anything that interests you, because if it interests you, it might interest me too. And I love learning, and I like using Healthy System as a place where I can share some of the things I'm learning. Because as most of you know, I'm an avid reader. Matter of fact, yesterday I sat down at Barnes & Noble and finished a book in 3 hours just because I love learning. And the best way to learn is to teach. And Healthy System Podcast, the reason I have this project, I don't make any money off of it. The reason I have this project is because I enjoy sharing the knowledge. And it also helps me communicate. I listen to my own podcast, and I love to reflect and be like, man, I could have said that better. So as you're going through Healthy System on this journey with me, I really appreciate you. And I love nothing less than when you message me and be like, Mo, I was listening to that podcast. Like, I know a lot of our clients listen to it. A lot of my friends listen to it. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on the podcast app inside the Apple iPhone, or if you're listening to it on Spotify as well. That feedback means a lot. But also, if you could drop a message letting me know that you're listening, it means the world to me. Yeah. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thank you for listening to the Healthy Systems podcast. I really appreciate you for tuning in today. Now, here are 2 ways I can help you for free. One, you can join our free Facebook community by just going to this link, bit.ly/Titan Facebook group. Just type that into your browser and then answer 2 questions, and then we'll let you into our Facebook community where you'll meet other people, as well as we have a lot of free resources in terms of meal plans, workouts, all kinds of stuff in there. Second way I can help you for free is if you follow me on Instagram at Mo Gaius, MOE, G as in George, H as in horse, I as in India, A as in apple, S as in Sam. Follow me there and then shoot me a message with the word Healthy Systems, and then I'll be sure to send you a free gift. Other than that, keep listening in, and I really appreciate you.